My name is Chuck Knight, and I am running for re-election to the Big Bear Airport Board of Directors. Since we are limited to 2 minutes, and I feel cheated by one, I will have to be brief. Our airport is a key source of revenue for our community. It should be aesthetically pleasing for those visiting our destination resort. And to quote an old movie line, if you build it, they will come. Some future goals in 2 minutes are tough to go over, but just as for instance, I think we all agree that the airport needs a facelift. For example, just one example, I would like to bring to the board for discussion, clearing all the weeds around the perimeter of the airport and replacing it with a DG composite material similar to the material used outside the entrance to the terminal building. I continue to receive the support and endorsement of the Big Bear Firefighters Association. I would challenge any criticisms with regard to our capital expenditures. There are those who say we spend too much, and there are those that accuse us of hoarding. I say this board has taken into account all financial and logistic components and made correct decisions throughout. In conclusion, I'm proud of the accomplishments, changes, improvements, and direction this airport is headed, despite the bumps in the road. I would like to thank all of you for coming and allowing me to present my opening statement. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. See, 2 minutes wasn't so bad. Yeah, if you guys could pass both mics down as you do it, because we're recording, it would be really helpful if you can, both of those are going to pick up, one for the church here and one for the video. Thank you.
There's no lights on this one. There was, but there's no.
Okay. Hello, my name is Julie Smith, for those of you that don't already know me, and I'm a candidate for the airport board. I moved to Big Bear 22 years ago because there was an airport in Big Bear. Since that time, I have taught middle school, high school, and community college science courses in Big Bear. I owned and operated a flight school and charter service for 11 years at Big Bear Airport. And I have obtained my private pilot's license and have an instrument rating and have about 1,200 hours. And for the last 4 years, I have been a member of the airport board. During my 4 years on the board, we have accomplished much, as Director Knight has said. And I'm running for office because I would like to continue what we've been working on and initiate new projects that will continue to improve the airport for the Valley. Some of what I've accomplished during those 4 years includes being a member of the Finance Committee for the last 4 years. We have worked to improve oversight and transparency and to comply with our outside auditors. We've established long-term policies and procedures that govern the board, and those are very important for having a effective board. We've begun the first ever strategic plan for the airport, and that's something that I definitely would like to continue to be able to see through. We have over this year developed and passed a new and more sustainable benefit plans for new hires, and when we hired a new employee in August, he was under that effective plan. I am current vice president and president of the board. One of the other things that we have done over these past 4 years is establish an atmosphere for problem solving. We've completed 3 airport improvement projects during the time. That's brought revenue from federal government and state government to Bear Valley, and helped construct 6 helipads. And I'd like to thank you for letting me serve these last 4 years.
Thank you.
Shall I proceed? Yes, sir. My name is Joseph Kelly, and I'm running for the Airport District Board. And again, thank you to Lighthouse and the Chamber of Commerce and Community Church for having us all here. And thank you for coming here. It feels a little bit like a Dean Martin comedy roast. Thanks for having us, Dean. And Julie and Chuck, congratulations. You make a wonderful couple. and now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. A little bit about myself. Big Bear brought me here also because of the airport. I started flying when I was 17. I worked in a service station, and I learned that I could work 10 hours and make enough money to fly 1 hour. And that was a good deal because I was raised in Inglewood, just under the flight paths from LAX. And that sound of those planes and that jet exhaust was in my blood from a very young age. And my love of flying drove me to fly at the earliest possible time. And I later went on to become started with airplanes and became a pilot. Later went on to fly helicopters, commercial pilot and instructor. And as a pilot, commercial pilot, instructor, I can appreciate what the airport does for this valley. It's a large part of our economy. It brings people in. It's an attraction. It's a place where we have our events. And I'm also a taxpayer and a voter and a member of the community. So I can see both sides of those issues, loving the airport and also looking at the fiscal standing and keeping taxes low, using common sense for governing the airport.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming out. This is very exciting to see so many people that's interested in what's going on around the valley. My name is Steve Castillo. For those of you who don't know me, some of you out there do know me. I'm a proud resident of Big Bear Lake, and just hearing from these two folks up here, I wouldn't have moved up here either if it wasn't for the airport. I've always wanted to move to the mountains. I'm from the San Gabriel Valley originally. And if there wasn't an airport here, being a pilot, I wouldn't have moved here either. I am a professional. A little bit about me and why I'm running. Most people, that's the biggest question I've been getting from everybody is, why do you want to run? Well, I'm a professional pilot, so I mostly fly corporate jets, large business jets. And I also am a recreational pilot, and I own a small aerobatic airplane called a Christian Eagle. So if you guys look up there and see this pretty little rainbow-colored airplane, biplane flying around, that's me. And so I've been a customer and user of the airport for the last 4 years, and I enjoy the camaraderie that we have at the airport immensely. And I basically, the reason I'm running is I'm very passionate about aviation, being a professional pilot. I'm extremely passionate about this community. I've fallen in love with it. I don't plan on ever going anywhere. You're gonna have to pluck me off this mountain. So I'm here to stay, and I really want to get involved in the community and help what's already a very well-ran airport and just be a good steward of this airport. I want to learn about the airport and get involved. So I have a lot of experience, visit hundreds of airports around the country on a regular basis, so I know a little bit of something about how an airport should be run, sorry about that. And, you know, I just want to learn. So I'm anxious to get involved and, you know, disseminate as much good information as I can to the community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ned Dodds. I feel like a baby here in Big Bear. I've only been here for 7 years. I was born in Northern California, about 6 miles from the spot that started the 1849 gold rush, but 90 years later. For my 3rd birthday, the Allied Armies commenced Operation Overlord. For my 17th birthday, I had a congressional appointment to the Air Force Academy that didn't work out, so I'm still a student pilot. And coming here to Big Bear, the airport was a definite draw. I primarily came here because I wanted to get away from the people and the water in Northern California. It's too wet there. So the Metropolitan Water District board race is interesting too. What do I have to offer? Several years of management experience in a number of capacities. I was an officer on a U.S. Navy destroyer during the thing in Vietnam. I've been a classroom science teacher for over a decade. I am now currently the president of a small corporation in Nevada, which sounds bigger than it really is. It's a 408-unit homeowners association. I got into that because I manage an LLC that has properties in Las Vegas. The business model was to buy foreclosures and rehab them and offer them back to the people who just lost their homes as rentals. Didn't count on the contraction in the Las Vegas population, so that business is kind of struggling. Bachelor of Science, Civil Engineering, Master's in Business Administration. I spent most of my working life in heavy construction, working for a little tiny construction company called Bechtel Power Corporation, building nuclear and coal-fired power plants in various places of the country. Not qualified to go overseas, but the company did that too. So I just want to offer my experience and education, talents and abilities to the airport district to do what Steve said. Make sure it keeps on giving back to the community at least as much as it takes out. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Logan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself also because most of the people here don't know me. I've been a Big Bear property owner for 28 years. I've lived here for 19. I hail from Boston originally. I'm a veteran. I am an avid aviator. I've been involved in aviations for 44 years. The history of my employment background is kind of varied. I started my life out in college deciding that I wanted to become a professional aviator. I got my commercial pilot's license, became a charter pilot back in Boston at Hanscom Field. Steve, you've been there. And I eventually got a job with Air New England as a first officer, and then I became a captain. Truth is, I got kind of bored with aviation. I didn't realize it was going to be the kind of career that I had hoped it would be for me. I ended up becoming a manager of a flight school back at Hanscom Field called API. It was the same flight school where I had trained. They were an FAA and VA approved school. I worked there for a few years, eventually got into electronics, and in about 1977 I came to California, was appointed as Executive Vice President of Southwest General Industries. We were a company of about 24 people and about $2 million a year. I was there for a decade. At the end of my tenure there, we were 1,400 people and $54 million annual, largest corporation in North County, San Diego in terms of employment. Left there, became senior VP and officer of Flextronics Corporation, a multinational electronics manufacturer. I have a varied background, as I said, but a deep background in business and management and financial control. And I think I can add a lot to the airport board. Thank you.
I'm impressed. That was very good. I'm Bob Hartunian. I'm the godfather of the airport in that I live out there almost every day. I retired up here from down below about 10 years ago. I was a senior engineering manager in the aerospace business. I used to work for Douglas, Northrop, and eventually for Boeing, and one time I worked for Howard Hughes. So I have a pretty strong background on airplanes. I built an airplane which I fly out of Big Bear almost about twice a week, and these little hands did it. So the airport is a really vital thing for me, and I'm always out there. I know everybody on the staff, I know everybody on the board, and I know most of the people at the airport. About 4 years ago, I started going to the airport board of directors meetings. And at first, I just sat there and listened so I could see how this thing functioned. And little by little, as time went on, I started to speak up. And when issues came up that I thought needed some kind of clarification, I started writing letters to the Grizzly newspaper. And we had people who were complaining about noise from the military aircraft that come by. And I wrote a letter to the Grizzly saying, these guys are putting themselves in harm's way, so have a little tolerance for it. We had questions that came up about how we finance the improvements that are made to the airport, and that's done by taxes on fuel. Unfortunately, last winter we had a meltdown when Gloria Green had a bad day, and we had a lot of trouble at the airport, and she eventually got censured. One of the things that I want to bring out is Joe and I are very similar. We talked about this about a year ago. We said if we were on the board, what would we do? And what we would do is have tolerance for each other, no matter what your opinion is. We would have respect for the position of a board of directors, and we would have civility between ourselves, and most of all, we would have respect, no matter what agreement we disagreed on. So I want to carry that forward, and if I'm elected, we're going to have a board that has harmony.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks.
We now have two statements. Brent will read one, and I will read the other from candidates that will not be able to be here this evening.
Yeah, we have two candidates.
Each candidate has been provided with a California Code of Fair Campaign Practices statement for the candidate to voluntarily sign. This statement says that you will conduct yourself and your campaign in an honest manner without negative attacks on any candidate. Have you signed the statement? If not, will you sign it now? And if not, why not? Julie, please.
I signed that down at the Register of Voters when I pulled papers.
Joseph?
I signed that here tonight. If you were here earlier with the MWD board forum, I was very busy on signing up for 4 different board elections that day, and I completely agree with the code of conduct. I hope humor is not a violation of the code of conduct. I use humor when I'm nervous. Somebody nudge Gary over there. He doesn't wake up. So humor is not a negative attack. It's just my way of dealing with my nerves.
Steve, please.
I have signed it.
I signed it when I filed my papers, and it bothers me a lot that it's such an obviously moral and ethical way to behave. It bothers me that we have to put it on paper and have people sign it, too.
Yeah, good point. Yes, I've signed it, and I totally agree, and I have the utmost respect for everyone on this dais.
I signed it, and if you want a copy, I can give it to you. It's a boilerplate copy that you have to sign in order to become a candidate. You can't come here and sit on this table without having signed it. So, yes, I did.
To Chuck or?
Yeah.
I signed it.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Sorry, good question. What are the duties of a board member of the airport board? What are the duties of a board member?
The airport board are elected by the people, and their duty is to the people. We swear an oath as candidates, and when we take office, we swear an oath to uphold the Constitution of the state and the country, and our duty is to the people. We're running for this particular board because of our interest in what we feel is what talent I can add to the board. But our duty is to the people, and as I see it, it should be run with common sense, fiscal responsibility, openness, informing the community and the taxpayers what's going on, working with each other. I understand this board has problems in the past. Maybe my humor can help with that. And pilots are basically humorous people. I hope that can work better in the future. And I'd like your opportunity to serve you. Thank you.
Well stated. Duties of a board member and the board of directors for the airport is pretty simple. It's to make, set, and enforce policy. And the other part to that is to also approve budgets and approve project expenditures. And we basically hire an executive staff to run the airport. And the ones that we've hired right now do an outstanding job. So anything we can do to protect that and make sure they're respected and appreciated is all the better. But the main thing is just to enforce, make, set, and enforce policy and approve budget expenditures and projects. And with 5 good minds on the board, we shouldn't have any problem accomplishing that.
There's no way I'm going to say anything new. We're just going to represent the people to make sure the district performs to the benefit of the people who elect us.
I have to echo what's been said, other than adding, we have a fiduciary responsibility to spend every tax dollar wisely.